So in this case, we have a condition that we are going to consider actually as a revision. We are given the sketch represents the graph of the parabola given by f of x is equal to ax squared plus bx plus c, a parabola. And the straight line defined by gx is equal to mx plus c. So as we can see on our question, there are two functions to be considered. All right, the g of x here and the f of x. So we've got the g of x, which is a linear, and this f of x, which is our quadratic or the parabola. That is our information. Points A, B, and C, C and D are the intercepts. All right, let's see. We've got A, we've got B, we've got C, and we've got D. These are the intercepts, all right, on the axis, where A and B are the x-intercepts of the parabola or the quadratic. D is the x-intercept of what? Of the linear function g of x. And this C is for both. As we can see, it is found on both functions. E is the point of intersection of the two graphs. All right, so we have got the point C being the point of intersection, and also E. These are points of intersections. Only that C, it's also the y-intercept for both functions as well. So it is indicating two conditions. This point C, it is the y-intercept for both functions. It is also the point of what? The point of intersection for the two graphs. So please be careful about this one, the point C. So with this information, they are giving us the questions now, which was to write down or to determine actually the coordinates of D if D is the image of B. All right. We need the coordinates of the point D, but they are saying D is the image of what? Of B. After B has been translated 2 units to the right, meaning to say where the point is, it is going to move 2 units to the right. Moving 2 units to the right, it means it is the x values which are being affected. The y values are not affected. It is the x values. All right, so let us consider. They are saying we moved the point B to have the point D. All right, we moved 2 units. So it is like 1, 2. And I said it is the x values which are affected. So you simply have to add. So the point D, it was going to be 3 plus 2. The y value remains as it is. So 3 plus 2, that's a 5. So that's our point D. All right. So the point D was going to be given as 5, 0. Remember, they said we moved the point B 2 units to the right. So you affect, that is the x values in that case. The x value is the one that is being affected. Then determine the equation of G. G represents what? The linear function. Remember, I talked about this on the linear function, the introduction, how to determine the equation of a straight line. That's a straight line that you are given there. How do you determine the equation of a straight line? Okay. We are already given in the form of y is equal to mx plus c. All right. That's 2.2. So taking y is equal to mx plus c. Remember, we need to calculate the equation of g. M represents the gradient. C is the y-intercept. So we can see on this line, G, this line, the line passes through the y-axis at this point 0, 3. We already have the y-intercept. The y value there is what? 3. So C is the y-intercept, which is what? Which is equal to 3. So C is equal to 3, the y-intercept. What about M? I said M represents the gradient. Remember your gradient, the change in y over the change in x, y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So taking the coordinates that we are given on the straight line, we have the point C, we can call it x1, y1. We also have the point D. Remember, we calculated the coordinates for the point D. We said it's 5, 0. So we're going to use this as what? X2, y2. So that's x2, y2. So we can substitute. Naming these points, it is up to you. You can name this one, the one x2, y2, this one x1, y1. It's up to you. So y2, according to my point, is 0 minus y1, which is 3, over x2, which is 5, minus x1, which is 0, like this. So that was going to give us the value of m, which is the gradient, and that was going to be negative 3 over 5. With the format that we are having, we can have this equation of the linear function. Therefore, y is equal to what? Mx, m minus 3 over 5. So that is minus 3 over 5x plus c. What is the c? The y-intercept. That is equivalent 3. Let's say you do not know this, or you do not understand that concept. You could have calculated this c by substituting the point. Y is equal to mx. You substitute your m minus 3 over 5x plus c. So to find c, you just substitute any point. You can substitute 5, 0. You can substitute 0, 3. It's in your hands. So let's say you substitute the point 0, 3. X is equal to as 0 there, when y is equal to 3. So that's 3 is equal to what? To c. So still, you could have calculated this by substituting any point, even the point D. You're going to have the same answer there. All right, so that's the equation of our G. So therefore, our Gx is going to be given as minus 3 over 5x plus 3. All right, so that is what we are going to have at the end. So considering another part, 2.3, determine the equation of the function f. Take note. In the form f of x is equal to, determine the equation. In our previous classes, I referred to this one, determining the equation of a parabola, or determining the equation of a quadratic function as a separate class. So I just hope you have that understanding, because we're just going to have a revision. Remember, we had that. And I said it properly, that they are not just going to give you a basic sketch. They're going to have different sketches that you have, like functions, different functions. As you can see, there is a parabola, a straight line. But anyways, us, we are to focus on what? F of x. Do not focus on this straight line. Focus on f of x. F of x, remember, that's your what? Your quadratic. F of x. Y is equal to ax squared plus bx plus c. That's our f of x. So remember, I said you have to figure out the conditions which are on that parabola. What is it that you are given? We are given the x-intercepts. We have got the x-intercepts and a point there, which is our y-intercept. So we've got x-intercepts and a point. What is the best way of answering when you have the x-intercepts and the point? I said the best way is to use the formula y is equal to a into x minus x1 into x minus x2, where x1 and x2 are the solutions, are the x-intercepts, are the roots of the function x1 and x2. So this is x1, this is x2. The x values, what is our x here? Minus 1. What is our x here? 3. So guys, working with these functions, you see, we could have done this equation, but now they're asking, like, on top of another question, they can ask you to find that equation of a parabola. All right, so let's substitute, guys. Y is equal to a into x minus x1, substituting the x value. minus 1. So it is minus minus, which is a positive. So that's x plus 1 into x minus our x2, which is what? Which is 3 at b there. This is at b. So that's x minus 3. So to find the value of a, we are going to use any point now. That's why we take any point using the point 0, 3. What does it mean? It means x is equal to 3. X is equal to 0, sorry. Y is equal to 3. So in place of x, substitute a 0. In place of y, substitute a 3, where you see a y there. So that's 3 is equal to, all right, so you're going to have 3 is equal to a into x plus 1. Remember, our x is what? That's a 0 there. So you're going to have 0 plus 1 into 0 minus 3. Okay, simply use your calculator properly, guys. That was going to give us a negative 3. So like I said, this is a times negative 3. A times negative 3. That's negative 3a. So divide by negative 3 both sides. A was going to give us a negative 1 if we divide by negative 3. So we have the a. We can substitute back to the equation that we had. Remember where we were being limited at this condition. We were limited because of what? We were not having this a. So by substituting the value of a that we calculated, it means our equation was going to be now written as, so we're going to just have, so therefore, y is equal to a, which is what? Negative 1. So that's negative 1 into x plus 1, x minus 3. So this is what you are going to have like this. But they said, in this format, is it what you're having? This format? No. How are we going to have this format of ax squared? It is by expanding the brackets. Remember your FOIL method. Expand the first bracket has to expand the second one. All right. So meaning to say y is equal to minus 1 into x times x. That is x squared, x and minus 3. That's minus 3x minus 1 and x, which is positive 1x. 1 and negative 3, that was going to be negative 3. Collecting the like terms inside the bracket, we're going to have the 1 here. So it's minus 3 plus 1, which is negative 2x, negative 3. So expand the brackets by negative, negative times x squared. That's negative x squared. Negative times negative 2, that's a positive 2. Negative times negative 3, that's a positive 3. So this is what we're going to have at the end in the format that we are given there. All right, so you see, guys, that is how you answer the questions. Know the stages. Explain this, guys, on introduction. So just go through and you understand this. All right? The format. Are you given the turning point? If it was a turning point that you are given, remember this one. You use it when you are given what? A turning point. But in this case, we do not have the turning point unless you are the one who is to calculate the turning point, because you can do that because we've got what? The x values. Remember, I said the value of x, but you cannot because where are you going to substitute now? So it was going to be complicated. So the best way it was to use this one. That was going to be the best way. So you have to be very careful. All right, let's consider another part. We are also asked to determine the coordinates of E. All right, remember there we now have our function that is y is equal to, so you can write it as f of x is equal to, the answer that we got, remember it was minus x squared plus 2x plus 3. All right, so that's it, we are done. So the coordinates of of E, which is 4 marks to calculate the coordinates of E. All right, where is the point E? We can see that E is the point of intersection for both functions, the quadratic function and also the linear function, as we can see here. They intersect at E. Like I said, C is also the point of intersection. So you are simply going to calculate You're simply going to calculate the point of intersection. E is the point of intersection, all right? So that is 2.4. Okay, so let's see. So like I said here, E represents the point of intersection. So if it is the point of intersection, we do understand that at the point of intersection, the two functions are equal. The two functions will be equal, meaning to say at the point of intersection f of x, which is the quadratic, this one, and gx must be equal. That is the condition of the point of intersection. The two will be the same. So if these two are the same, and we have that this f of x, remember, we calculated our f of x. All right, this is our f of x. We are going to take our f of x as it was, all right, which is minus x squared plus 2x plus 3 must be equal to gx, all right? Remember, we calculated our gx. This was our gx, minus 3 over 5x plus 3, all right? Minus 3 over 5x. So these two, they are equal. Minus 3 over 5x, all right, plus 3. This was our gx. And we are saying at the point of intersection, these two are equal. So it's an equation that we have formed where we need to solve for x. And that's a quadratic equation. Remember, one side must be equal to 0. Ax squared plus bx plus c must be equal to 0. So let's take these terms to the left side. So we are going to have minus x squared. The minus 3 over 5 there will be positive. So we're going to have positive 2 over 5x. You have to add it there. So 2 plus 2 over 5. You have to add 2 plus 2 over 5. That was going to give us 12 over 5. So that's a positive 12 over 5x. The 3 to the other side was going to be a negative, like this. So it's 3 minus 3, which is a 0. So there's nothing there. That's a 0. 3 minus 3. So this is our equation, minus x squared plus 12 over 5x, which we are not going to consider a lot of things in our simplification. All right? So we are not going to consider a lot of things in our simplification. There we are not going to consider a lot of things. All right. So this was 3 over 5 there. So it's 2 plus 3 over 5. Where am I getting the 2 over 5? This is 3 over 5. So it is supposed to be, if it is 3 over 5, that means it was supposed to be 13 over 5. So it's supposed to be 13 over 5 here. So this is supposed to be 13 over 5x. All right. So can we just correct that one? So like I was saying, it's a quadratic equation. Yes, the highest exponent there is 2. But there's no need for you to apply the quadratic formula because we just have two terms. We can simply factorize. Factoring out the highest common factor, which is x, we can take it as a negative just to make this coefficient of x squared to be positive. That one, guys, it's your own. You can factor out as it is, x as it is. Factoring out x, this will be what? Minus x. Remember, minus x squared divided by x. So that's minus x. If we factor out x, this is going to remain as what? 13 over 5. So that's plus 13 over 5 like this, which is equal to 0. This is where you are. And from this condition, remember the 0 concept, each of these two must be equal to 0 once you have a product. So that's x must be equal to 0. So x is supposed to be equal to 0, or this bracket that is remaining here, which is minus x plus 13 over 5. It must be equal to 0. So meaning to say, we can have the x value by taking that minus x to that side so that it becomes a positive. So x is equal to what? 13 over 5. So these are the solutions. x which is equal to 0, the x which is equal to 13 over 5. And of these solutions, it must exactly correspond to the one that we had before. Which one? The y-intercept here, because we say this one is also a turning point, remember. And what is the x value? C, x, y, the x is what? X is a 0. We already have that. That is the one, if you substitute back this one, when x is equal to 0, this one, you will find the point C. So we cannot take this one because it's point C. As remember, the question is to calculate what? Coordinates of the point E. So E will be the other one, which is remaining, this one. So that is where our E is, which is represented by what? The 13 over 5, this one. So remember, the question is the coordinates. So we need it as a point. When x is 13 over 5, what about the y value? So therefore, we are going to have the point E. So therefore, the point E was going to be given if x is 13 over 5. What about the y value? Remember, the y value, you will find it by substituting in any, this x value here, in any of the equations. Is it in the, on the original here? Because these two functions, they are equal. You can substitute in gx, you can substitute in f of x. In f of x here, sorry, this is our f of x, this one. You can substitute here in f of x, or you can substitute here in what? In gx. Remember, our gx was minus 3 over 5, x plus 3, y is equal to minus 3 over 5, x plus 3. I'm going to use the easier one, guys. Instead of using that quadratic, let's just take the linear. So to find the y value, just substitute any one that you want. You can substitute any. So when x is 13 over 5, substitute where x is. We are going to substitute that 13 over 5 in place of x here. So that's 13 over 5. All right, plus 3. So we can simply use our calculator to evaluate or to simplify this one. All right, so simplifying on our calculator, that's minus 3 over 5, like this. All right, open the bracket. So just move this aside, then open the bracket. 13 over 5. That's 13 over 5. I'm going to close the bracket, plus a 3, like this. So that was going to give us 36 over 25. All right. So this is 36 over 25, like this. So with this, you are going to now conclude the point E. All right. Like I said, you need the y value. So the y value is what? 36 over what? Over 25. You now have the y value, just like that. So questions can be like that. Questions can be of this nature, where they want you to understand all these basics. All right. At the point of intersection, the two graphs are said to be equal. The two functions will be equal. So you form an equation from there. Whether it is a hyperbola and a straight line, whether it is a parabola and a straight line, whatever function, is it a logarithmic and a straight line? At the point of intersection, the two will be equal. You can even use this in any, whether you are dealing with the trigonometric functions, still it applies there, as long it is a function. On 2.5, we are given, write down the values of x for which f of x is greater than or equal to gx. This is a condition. When you see this one, you are comparing two functions which are already drawn. These are the two functions. They are already there. And you are comparing them. Guys, how do we compare these two functions? They are already there, these two functions. There is a comparison that is happening there. So we are given that f of x is supposed to be bigger than or equal to gx. That's 2.5. All right, let's just have it here. I want you to see something so that you understand each other. So 2.5, We are told that f of x is supposed to be greater than or equal to gx. Whenever you're given two functions already drawn like that, you have to just compare them. This one, the first one is bigger than the other one. It means the first one is on top of the second one. So it's on top of what? It's on top of gx. We are referring to conditions of the x values when f of x is on top of gx. Where do we have the function that is called f of x, this one, being on top, being above gx like this? This is our f of x. Where do we have it above? This is our f of x, remember, and this is our gx. If we are to consider all from this side here, this side, gx was above. Look where gx is on the positive above here. It's on top of what? Of f of x. So here it is totally wrong because gx is the one which is on top. Moving from this point here, from the y value here where x is 0, moving from this point, we can see that the g is the one that is now on top. In this interval from this 0 up to the point E, remember the point E, we calculated the coordinates of the point E. All right. We calculated that was 3/5 something, 13/5, something like that. The coordinates of the point E. So we take the x value there. It was 13/5. All right. 13/5. We take the x value from the coordinate E that we calculated. It was 13/5. All right. So if you check properly in between this interval from 0 to 13/5 in the x values, f of x is above. So this interval is correct. Let's move on from 13/5 going this side. Going this side from 13/5. We can see that g is now on top. Look where g is the one that is above f of x. So this is totally wrong because f of x is supposed to be the one on top or the one above. But this one, f of x is below, as you can see. This one is on top. So we cannot take that condition because f of x is the one that is supposed to be on top. So this region, from this 13/5 going this side, everything fails. The same thing as what we had before. So you see that the correct part is going to be this one, where we see f of x being on top, as we can see. This is where our f of x is. It is on top of what? Of this gx in that interval. So how do we take solutions if they are in between from one value to another value? They are in between. How do you take your solutions? It will be x is greater than 0, but less than 13/5. But take note, they are saying it is greater than or equal to. The equal to is there. So you must also use it on your solution. There must be an equal to on your solution. So these are the x values that we are going to take in between 0 and 13/5. F of x will be bigger than gx. I don't know, guys. It is in your hands. Let us discuss the comment section. That is the purpose of it, so that we see if there is an understanding or there is a need for more explanation of these typical questions, but you can answer them in any way that you understand. Just try as an individual to do as many questions as you can. Grade 12, it's all about revision, a lot of revisions. So please, guys, do not sleep. You are in the final level of your revisions, the final level of what you have been doing since grade 12, since grade 8, I mean. So this final level is not just supposed to be just to be left like that, guys, just to relax like that and say, I'll see it later on. Let's thrive in as much as we can. If it means we are not going to sleep, let it be like that. So that you prepare yourself, so that you make sure that you are ready for the exam. You have to feel it within you. You must feel that now I'm ready. The paper, I'm ready to write. So, guys, we have got the platform. We have the time. Let us utilize it till we meet again.